Hi guys, I'm back. This is Breaker, and I decided to take a replay from GameReplays.org. It was going to be a PvT, something I'm not all too familiar with, but something that I observe a lot in tournaments. Just, simple PvT game. But at the same time, I don't play Protoss and I don't play Terran, so I'm thinking what we're going to see here is going to be relatively interesting, and it takes me out of my comfort zone again. So without further ado, let's get to casting this replay. Let's see, there we go. Okay. Again, just go ahead and subscribe, comment. Let me know how my casting is. Just tell me what you guys think. What needs fixing, what doesn't. But who am I to demand? Because I should be giving these players their introduction. Lower left-hand corner, spawning as our Protoss in the red trunks. His name is Tauren, and he belongs to the llABll clan. I'm thinking that's probably just his blood type that he made as a clan tag. The upper right-hand corner, spawning is our Terran in the blue trunks. His name is Lord. Simply Lord. The map we are on right now is Star Station. I imagine the latter edition because this is force cross position spawns. I did donate plasma earlier today, so if I make any mistakes or call out anything wrong, please do forgive me. And I guess as long as we have macro time to fill in, I guess I could give you guys a monologue about myself, who I am, what I do. Next semester I'm going to Korea. I am a caster that specializes in the Chinese scene, as well as the Taiwanese scene. I do have a good deal of contacts with the IG clan, as well as WE. I have Com, the Chinese pro that was disqualified from WCSNA. And this is something rather clever from Lord. We actually have him kind of moving out with an SCV right there. Okay. I was thinking perhaps he was going to try a proxy, but instead this actually looks like it's a simple conjecture that he didn't know where his opponent was spawning, what direction he's spawning. Of course, for those of you who don't know, this map is force cross position spawns. Don't repeat the mistake that Lord made. It's just it's a slight mistake. I won't call it, game ending. It certainly isn't. But obviously, the first thing that he should have kind of done there was basically tried to scout for his opponent. And this looks like a bit of a defensive scout coming from Tauren. He's just making sure there's no proxy stuff going down. Meanwhile, our SCV finally found Tauren, and he sees that there's one gas in a cybernetics core. That means basically, one can conjecture that perhaps Tauren is going to go for an Expo in the near future, but I am willing to retract that statement. It's a bit of a risky play to do that, really. Especially given on one gas. There is, of course, my knowledge, the things that I hear are that typically the safest Expo is, versus Terran anyway, one gate Expo with double gas, that way you can get some force field sentries out ASAP. Should you need them. 2, maybe 3 max, early stage of the game. And behind this, it looks like Lord is going for a Korean style 1-1-1. I call this Korean style because, of course, I see this trending most popularly on the Korean server, even at Platinum level play. Platinum level on the Korean server is actually quite close to Diamond League play. One would never really guess, but of course it's true. And hello, what is this? Tauren actually throws down a pylon over here. It did have time to finish up. And now we have Hellions in the makes for Lord. Tauren, of course, trying to take defensive stance while at the same time just making an Expo. And, ooh, Twilight Council over here? This leads me to believe that we are going to see maybe a proxy Dark Shrine as well, but I am also, again, willing to retract that statement. He could simply be hiding tech. That's it. Command Center now going down for Lord, getting ready for that Expo. And is this going to be Hellbats? No, wait, an Engineering Bay follow-up. That's rather interesting. Again, both of these players are Masters League. This is something that I don't see all too often, really. An Engineering Bay immediately goes down. Okay, SCV comes back home. There's a bunker here and a missile turret. Wait a minute, what is this all about? How does he know about that? Huh. No scouting information. What is this all about? Well, that's kind of crazy. Looks like we are going to have these Hellions just kind of barge in here, and now they have free reign over the probe line. Ouch. This is not looking pretty at all. Ew, probes have to get pulled to actually deal with that problem directly. And the mothership core looks like it was rebuilt because it was killed somewhere along the lines of... No, wait, it recalled. I'm sorry. And ouch, that's just painful to watch right there. 12 probe kills altogether. 12 workers killed. I don't know, I'm just a little curious. How does our Terran know to react this way? This is something that we don't see too often. Interesting. Alright, so the second orbital command is about to finish up, and it looks like we're going to have llABll Tauren just leaving his zealot here. And it will be able to prevent that expo for some period of time. But again, that's probably one of the weirdest plays I've ever seen. He actually knew that there was going to be a Dark Shrine. He really wants those mules, I guess, and he's just going to leave that zealot there to die, it looks like, from Tauren. Tauren, I think, you know, he's still kind of ahead in the worker count aspect, if you will. We do have a DT moving out here for Tauren right now as well. And he's going to try and make some damage happen, but wait a minute, what is this from Lord? He's actually got a double bunker going down at the front lines. This is something rather unorthodox, like you're expecting a huge army to come forward. I don't want to call it out like this, but if this is not something that was played on the ladder, I am somewhat inclined to believe that it's actually Lord's a map hacker. Like, that's what I'm inclined to believe right now. There is a DT that made it over here, and it did get 1 or 2 kills. Just one, really. It did get shut down. Still nothing from Tauren. He's actually kind of being quite mute right now. Doesn't really want to talk about that. But this is kind of big. We actually have Lord moving out with a ton of Hellions. 8 of them. Does he have blue flame for them or no? Okay, well, let's just see how this goes. Meanwhile, back at home, Tauren isn't really ready to face off against this, but ouch. Looks like the Hellions gonna take 1 or 2 swipes from that DT. They do. Mothership core does activate. Ouch, this is painful. This is really painful. He does activate Photon Overcharge on the main Nexus, and that is a soaring number of worker kills right there. That is 28. But back at the natural, however, we're gonna see that Lord is not too apt to seeing that DT. And now he's got 2 factories with reactors and a single barracks with reactor. Observer comes into just a little too far within the missile turret range, and it does get shot down, unfortunately. He did see the 3rd command center being constructed, however, so that means we're going to see the Lord again trying to expo. Templar Archives is now going down for Tauren. I mean, he's just so far behind in terms of economy right now. It's a little painful to watch, really. I mean, how does he come back from something like this? Now 9 Hellions coming back. Lord is just being the most annoying Terran on the planet imaginable. Just throwing away Hellions left and right. But what is he doing here, sending them directly south? It's just got me a little bit mesmerized. Okay, sends them in that direction. Now he's got to send them through the 4th. Okay. Now a 4th command center is also on the way. And it looks like, oh man, we just have Lord ignoring everything that isn't a probe right now. He's just being super annoying. I would hate to face off against a Terran like this. I really would. Here we go. Photon Overcharge gets activated on the Nexus in the main right now. Probes lining up as they get pulled, unfortunately, and it looks like the Mothership core is going to try and take some of these Hellions down, and it does a good job of doing that. And now another command center after another command center, and after another command center, just going down for our Terran. This is... I don't know. I just don't know what to say to this. Double Forge going down at home for Tauren. Double upgrades. And now I just want to keep tabs of that probe massacre. 48 altogether, and we still see no end in sight for Tauren with the harass, really. Alright. Well, let's just see where things go in the near future. We have an Archon now in the makes. Jeez, it's almost as though Tauren's never really heard of force fields. Then again, I don't think he has the gas income right now to really support. What's the word I'm looking for? Sentries, yes. He does have about 200 gas floating, and the cheapest units that he can, or the most cost-effective units that he can really produce right now would be High Templars en masse. He's trying to get Psionic Storm. It looks like he does, and my curiosity is piqued at whether or not Lord actually knows that he has it. Yes, he does. But his reaction immediately, at the time anyway, does not seem to be making ghosts. That is the instinct to expect from a Tauren player. There's no Ghost Academy to speak of that I can see, anyway. And it looks like we're gonna have Lord moving out again for some kind of forward pressure. Like, again, as if 48 workers killed was not enough already. His main goal, it seems for the time being, is simply to just keep on throwing away workers, or not throwing away workers, but rather Hellions. And he's sending them along these slick routes that we would never really see Tauren guessing. He's gonna it looks like he's gonna try and split them up between whatever route he may. And wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh, those Hellions! They stop on the Archons, they try to get the kills. Gonna get an Immortal. Hero Mothership Core actually shuts that down right there. Wow. Photon Overcharge, or excuse me, not Photon Overcharge, but instead Time Warp going down. And it looks like the worker kills here are minimal or non-existent. Medevac full of Marines. It looks like we're gonna have Lord, I think. Just type out llABll, and that's about it. Behind this, what do we have from our players? +2/+2 now on the way for Tauren. The upgrades for our Tauren, I think, are non-existent. Like, there's just... Hold on, let me check this again. Yeah, there's nothing, not even Stim. There are Hellbats in the mix, yes, no doubt, but of course, you know, again, it's just, ooh, a little absurd, but wow, that command center. Wow, that got sniped. It looks like there's going to be a scan going down on top of this one DT right here. And I'm wondering just what we're going to see as a follow-up from Tauren right now. 7 Hellbats coming out at a time. And it seems as though, amazingly, our Tauren just seemed to magically know about that pylon from the start. Looks like he's getting ready for a Hellbat drop as well. But something to highlight right now is the danger that we see Tauren in, at least economically. Sure, I think if he loses a lot of probes immediately, at least on his main, it wouldn't be too severe, but the natural, of course, still has a lot of life left on it. The main is going to go dry in the next 5 minutes, but the third, however, it really needs to be started up, if you will, from our, from our Protoss. Wait, Lord's going to just kind of A-move into this, and I don't think we have what it takes from Tauren to hold against this. Oh, the Marine's trying to pepper away that Mothership Core. It does activate the Photon Overcharge. Mothership Core gets killed in the process. He's going to have to rebuild that. Immortal's relatively useless versus Hellbats, but Archons are another story. And now we have DTs going to work on on Lord in the main. Photon Overcharge does get activated, but again, all of these units are just out of the range of it. More and more gateways being tacked on as well. And it looks like the mineral line is again in trouble for our Protoss. He's forced to pull probes. And how's this going to work out? I'm a little curious to see. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, Tauren just pulls out, and it seems like he doesn't really have the multitasking skills to deal with what's going on at home for him in terms of economic damage. Now, we do see him throwing down a bunch of expos behind this because he's actually floating a good deal of minerals. I'm not sure, you know, what league Lord is in, really. This is really something else. Okay, so another DT warping in over in that direction. It may very well not be map hacks. It could actually be these guys getting together on TeamSpeak and enjoying a game, a casual game or something like that, and someone whispering to them, okay, well, this is what's going on here. You might want to do this to deal with it, blah, 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 blah. Hero DT kills a single Hellbat before falling, and it looks like we actually see Tauren, I don't know. He's kind of coming back in this a little bit, but again, to compete with this economy, I don't think he can really do it. Look at all the factories here. I really don't think that's what we could call optimal, but definitely. I just don't know what to say to that. Okay, so is the mothership core back in play yet, or no? With what we see here, I'm thinking the present danger for our Terran, if there is any to speak of whatsoever, would have to be in the form of Archons. The Immortals left over from behind will be able to deal with these tanks aptly if they are able to get to the forward lines and actually crush these guys with any shots. Behind this, we actually see the third is about to finish up for Tauren. But 6 base Terran, geez, come on. This is a little, what's the word I'm looking for, rapid to be taking expos. Meanwhile, if we were to simply examine the base count right now, it's actually much more in favor of our Terran again. And everything's kind of caught out of position here. No siege. DT's actually not being scanned right now. And it looks like we get a full surround on everything here. The Immortals are actually focusing down the... Oh, wow. Everything on the ground. I don't think there's anything that can shoot up here now that the Mothership Core is still alive. And there it is. Ah, ha, ha. From Lord. I'm not sure what that's all about. He's just made nothing but a bunch of Hellbats. He has no upgrades. Again, just something to stress. And it looks like this Mothership Core is just going to have a field day on whatever's on the ground. No kills yet. And the DT's chasing down the Hellbats. And the Zealots coming here to deal with it as well. This again from a Masters League Protoss going up against an unknown ranking Terran. This is actually a little bit scary for Tauren right now. He's actually going to lose everything in this mineral line if he's not careful. I'm not sure. But it looks like we have, I say, Tauren actually trying to come and deal with this. Well, no, Tauren's trying to actually cause some economic damage, but of course that's a few too many missile turrets for him to land a Warp Prism there as he pleases. There is, however, a pylon here. And right now I think we have Tauren just a little hesitant to move out and directly engage his opponent. It's going to be a while before he's actually in any position to fight him head on. Checking the income, Terran is ahead, making 2,000 minerals a minute almost, and 900. Ooh, coming from our not Terran, but our Protoss. There's a mule coming down here to repair this one planetary fortress. Orbital commands, orbital commands, orbital commands everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And now it looks like we have Tauren kind of moving back here. I don't know, no upgrades on this Terran's army whatsoever. I'm just wondering how's this going to work out. Mortals trying to get the kills that they can. Working hard for them. The Archons, however, will be able to, I think, aptly deal with these Hellbats. One Zealot chasing down these guys by the tail. And I think we're going to have DTs going to town on what is left over. It looks like these Zealots over here got an orbital command without the Terran lifting it up. And now we actually see Tauren actually coming back from this, I think, in an okay position. But he's got to really be able to get those tanks dealt with and then pull the Immortals back. That's what's really going to matter the most. Archon just finishes up, so it's going to make for a better tank than the Immortals will, I think. Immortals not the best tool in the shed versus all of these Hellbats, but for now they're going to do. And it looks like we have all these Zealots and this DT trying to get ready to go town on something. The third under so much trouble from the wrath of these Hellbats from Lord. And now Lord is just typing out ha ha ha. Not sure what this is all about, but here we go. DT here is going to be relatively undamaged. And there's no mules to repair this planetary fortress, so once it falls, it falls. Oh, wait, the mules are coming in to repair. Will they be able to get it? I don't know. Oh, they do not. And those are some wasted mules. That's 50 energy. No, that's 150 energy. We're not going to see our Terran get back. He says, oops. And I think I don't know. Let's just see. Does he know about these other expos? He's actually clicked up here to A move, so let's see whether or not he's going to find that. He does. DT warps in over here, and it's getting ready to, I think, go into the main of Lord, or at least try to make some damage happen elsewhere. This is really going to restrict our Terran's income. SCV Massacre is going down over here. 5 kills, 6 kills on some of these Zealots. It looks like Tauren's now having his revenge. just got to gather an army and face this head on. His income is not quite up to par with that of our blue Tauren, but of course in the near future that could be a different story, as we do have the natural going dry. And this looks like 7th base from our Tauren is actually not in so good of a position. But again, the question is, can we see Tauren take this army head on? He's going to have photon cannons. He's got DTs. I'm wondering, are we going to see a scan from our Tauren or not? I mean, he's got to be noticing by now, inevitably, his army is being destroyed. But it looks like we have both players trying to take it into a base race scenario. Probe's immediately getting pulled for Tauren. He's just going to try and get out of there. Save what he can while he can. What is this all about? Jeez, wow. This sorcery. What is this? What is this? Okay, so here we go. Another DT just going to town on these Hellbats one at a time. Now we actually see the infrastructure in a lot of trouble. It looks as though we actually have... Wow. Lord's lifting up all of his buildings. He's like, okay, well... Yeah, that's not important anymore. This base gets destroyed. Income for Tauren now at absolute 0. Protoss, not much difference. So now this is actually the full classically coined base race scenario. But again, Tauren actually has a Nexus over here. So he might be okay in the near future. We have DTs warping in over here to deal with the main army directly and head on. Scans going down on top of this DT. Doesn't really get him. Actually, no, wait, there are no scans. There's no energy for a scan right now. None of the orbital commands are landed, so they can't scan on top of this army. So basically, if we're going to see these DTs get shut down, it's actually all going to come down to... Oh, wait, one scan does go down. Doesn't quite pick off that DT, but it will be able to move back in whenever it needs to. The income is about to go back up for Tauren. He's going to get about 18 workers on that mineral line. And that's what's going to make a huge difference. We actually see Lord at, I think, a much lower income, substantially lower income than it should be. And, ouch, last scan goes down, getting that DT, but there's also one more over here. And I don't know, are there any scans left at all? There's actually an orbital command over here. It does burn a scan to deal with that DT, and now we actually have, ouch, our Protoss is willing to now fight him head on. He's got 3 Immortals. And again, the Mothership Core is able to shoot down. The Hellbats don't shoot up, so that's actually, I think, going to cost our Tauren the game. Just wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Lifts off and pulls back. And again, all 18 of these workers are going back to work. That's going to bring the income back up. Production, almost 0. We do see a bunch of factories now going down. 4 of them, actually. 5 now. As this does remind me of something I did see in the Neo TV Star League back in December. Moving on to January and February. Okay, so for the time being, it looks like we have essentially Lord kind of stalled. And we do have a lot more worker kills that are going to go down here as well, as the SCVs will need to be pulled. Lord actually killed 107 over the course of this game. Tauren managed to kill 40-something. And that's about all the mining bases, actually. Once we get rid of these, once they get lifted off, we're actually going to see Lord in a huge heap of trouble in terms of income. That's when we're going to see Tauren's basically skyrocket. But conversely, we do see that Lord is floating enough minerals to throw down 2 more command centers. And he's got an orbital command over here ready to go. These Zealots, these Immortals, are going to try and chase down what they can, but the most critical part that they don't know about is that the infrastructure has been rebuilt. Now we see this one Zealot trying to be the hero and go to town on this mining base, but for now, I don't know, like, what do we see from Tauren? He's just not willing to really engage here. He can't actually, now with the army size. I don't think, yeah, with an army supply that much bigger than his own, I don't think we're going to see him fare too well. He does have a couple of Nexi that will do well, but he's still oblivious to these ones. He actually didn't move anything that way or from earlier. This game is going crazy in every direction, guys. I just, I don't know what to say about it. Alright. So, here we go. Scans now going down left and right, and since Tauren is unable to directly engage his opponent, he's going to try and... Oh, wait a minute. Get a look at this. Tauren actually now aware of this base in the upper left. I don't know, if we just check the chat logs, I think it's actually... Oopsie, I don't want to do that. I actually think it's quite viable that this is, again, just a game between two friendly players. One of them says, sure, like they're on TeamSpeak and he's listening or something. He just types out something in sarcasm. And Tauren does have an observer here that's going to catch on to the income at this present location. And it looks as though this one DT is actually just wrecking absolute economic house. These two DTs, excuse me, wrecking absolute economic house for our Tauren. And now it just seems like our Tauren's got something built everywhere. I'm surprised at this stage of the game, 35 minutes in, he actually has not caught on to what is happening here. He's going to see this base, and he's going to see this base as well. Archon's now warping in, trying to make themselves the heroes. But I still say the scans are the one thing that we can see that will work the most in favor or out of favor for our blue Tauren. Mothership Core is going to come in. Again, a hero activating that photon overcharge, throwing down a time warp, and there it is. Ah ha ha ah 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 lol from Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Breaker. I will see you guys next time.